Welcome back to the Sunday Business Page.
While jobs are about to disappear at General Motors in southwestern Pennsylvania, companies are facing a shortage of employees because of deficiencies in the skill level and number of applicants in the workforce. A recent study shows that worker shortages can cut into profits and state and local tax revenues. Two guests join us now to talk about what can be done to improve the training and quality of manufacturing employees. Petra Mitchell is president and CEO of the Catalyst Connection, a private not-for-profit organization in Pittsburgh that provides consulting and training services to small manufacturers in southwestern Pennsylvania. Sandra DeVinson Wolf is executive director of Carnegie Mellon University's Manufacturing Futures Initiative, or MFI. Ladies, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on.
Thank you, John.
Let me ask you very briefly, describe Catalyst Connection for us, Petra.
Yeah, thanks, John. Catalyst Connection is an economic development organization, as you mentioned. We provide services to manufacturers, technical assistance, workforce development, workforce training. And the idea is as individual companies grow and improve, collectively they impact the regional economy and enable all of us to have a very high quality of life here in Pittsburgh.
Gotcha. And how about over at CMU, the Manufacturing Futures Initiative, MFI? Sandra, what's that all about?
John, this is an initiative at Carnegie Mellon University that has been funded generously by the Richard K. Mellon Foundation to help us accelerate the digital transformation of manufacturing. What we're doing is seeding projects that bring together faculty and researchers from different departments in the university to look at key strategic manufacturing areas to push the technology development forward and help with workforce training in that area as well.
Gotcha. So you're both in the same area, which is why we both have you here. I wanted to ask about this study. I was looking at it and trying to understand a little bit more about it. It appears to be that we've got a real problem when it comes to, we've got the jobs, the manufacturing jobs, we don't have the skilled people. Is that how you look at it?
Absolutely. So the good news about the study is that manufacturers are hiring in southwestern Pennsylvania. In every community, every county in our region, there are jobs available. And those jobs are at all different levels. So from entry level with folks that require just basic mechanical, basic employability skills, to very advanced, sophisticated levels with folks from degrees from CMU and other great universities in our region.
Sandra, you focus on those who with more technical skills, I presume? Is that what you're looking at with MFI?
We do. At Carnegie Mellon, we're working, of course, with our students in higher education to train them in those areas. But we do have a lot of efforts that partner with organizations like Catalyst Connection and other institutes that do train people at the technician level as well.
The shortage of workers, how bad is it?
Well, John, as you pointed out in our study, the Manufacturing Employment Demand Study, right now today, there are thousands of open jobs in manufacturing.
Thousands of open jobs available to people watching the show.
Yes, across all levels, again, across all levels in the organization.
So somebody who is a high school graduate would be able to get a job?
Absolutely. There are, as I said, entry-level jobs for folks that have high school degrees. Now, they do require some basic employability skills, mechanical skills, those kinds of skills, but if they have the desire to gain those skills and to work, there are absolutely jobs available for them.
And that's where organizations like yours come in, and I understand you two are partnering.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So Carnegie Mellon University, or Catalyst Connection, is co-locating with the Carnegie Mellon University Manufacturing Futures Initiative to create a manufacturing hub in southwestern Pennsylvania to enable folks to come in and learn about new technologies, learn about what's happening at CMU, and to get the basic skills they need for these jobs.
So where is this going to be?
So this is located in the Hazelwood area of Pittsburgh. It's a 178-acre site, and we're going to be moving into what was known as Mill 19 back in the LTB Steel days.
Yep, I think I've been over to that site.
So there's a building under construction right now under the structure that was the original steel site. And we're going to be moving into that in the summer of next year, and Catalyst will be joining us there a few months to follow.
Summer of 2019.
Yes.
And will this be a place then for those who need the skills in order to take advantage of all these available manufacturing jobs to come and get trained?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a place with lots of things going on. So certainly research and advanced technology will be happening there, but then yes, also training and development and opportunities for growth for not only entry-level or job seekers and entry-level workers, but also for our advanced workers.
Can you, we only have a minute or so left, but can you be a little more specific about the kinds of manufacturing jobs? You know, what kind of companies are hiring?
So basically all companies are hiring. That's the message.
Well,
yes.
and I can preface that by saying that there are 10,000 baby boomers retiring every day.
Yes.
So someone's got to be there for them, right?
So I would say the way to think about it is these are generally jobs that require folks to operate, maintain, and develop very sophisticated computer-controlled manufacturing equipment.
So bottom line is they need training, but you don't necessarily need a college degree to get that training. Ladies, thank you very much for coming in and sharing with us. Congratulations on your partnership. Looking forward to having you come back and tell us how it's all going.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you again. When the Sunday Business Page continues, what community engagement means to Duquesne Light as part of its corporate mission. Jessica Rock will join us. Stick with us.
The Sunday Business Page will be back in just a moment.